Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today from frigid Ontario and balmy Amsterdam, where it is +6. We would love those temperatures here in Ontario, that's for sure. We'd all be wearing shorts, I think. I'm Lynn Cassidy from the Ontario Charitable Gaming Association, and welcome to our third educational webinar in partnership with the Canadian Postcode Lottery Foundation. We're very pleased to be able to partner with the Postcode Lottery Group to bring these events to you. Today's topic is Discover the Power of Artificial Intelligence for Your Organization, and the event will be recorded and available to share later. I have with me today Judith Lingman, the Director of International Affairs for the Postcode Lottery Group, and Richard Schwar, the new Executive Director for Ontario Charitable Gaming Association. I'll now turn it over to Judith to tell you a little bit about the Postcode Lottery Group and to introduce our knowledgeable speakers today. Judith?
Well, thank you so much, Lynn, and good morning, everyone. It's really great. Lynn already mentioned it's the third webinar that we are co-hosting, and we are super happy with an ally and friend as the Ontario Charitable Gaming Association is. And well, today we are going to talk about artificial intelligence. We are currently, let's check, with about 90 participants. So that's really great. And as Lynn said, the ones that cannot make it or you want to rewatch it, it will be recorded and we will put it online. So everybody can get notice of what we're going to share today. Before we dive into the topic, as I said, I'd like indeed to give you a brief introduction on the Canadian Postcode Lottery Foundation, because we have been in existence for over a year, since September 2023. And exactly 1 year ago, last year, the 23rd of January, we held our first in-person event in Toronto with a lot of charities based in Canada. And it was a great afternoon with a great keynote speaker, Paul Nazareth. And at that event, we also announced that we would start, in collaboration with the OCGA, a series of webinars to serve the Ontario-based charity landscape with inspiration and education. So that is what this morning is also about. And again, OCGA is a dream partner with a member base of over 2,000 charities in Ontario. And we are very happy that a lot of you have been able to join us this morning again. So following our previous events, and some of you might have joined with Dan Pelotta, and also the last one in November with Volunteer Canada, also very, very inspirational. Today we will explore the world of artificial intelligence. Well, there is a lot to say about artificial intelligence, but we're going to focus on some upsides in the end, of course, because we are positive and AI can serve really in a very creative way. And we have amazing speakers with us today. But please allow me first to share also some words about the Postcode Lottery Group that the Canadian Postcode Lottery Foundation is part of. Because this organization, indeed, as Lynn pointed out, is based in Europe with headquarters in Amsterdam. And we run currently 6 charity lotteries in 5 different countries. And to give you an idea of our size, we have been operating for 35 years already. When it all started here in Holland, we have been able last year to collect no less than 960 million euros for hundreds of charities and thousands of community initiatives. And of course, you can understand we would love to bring this model into Ontario as well. And that money is raised thanks to all our loyal players in the lotteries. And of course, they are winners and big winners as well. Well, this unique postcode lottery format actually encourages neighbors to play together and win together because their postal code is part of their ticket number. So this is how it works. But I can go on and on and on to talk about how it works. I think it is easier to show you a little bit video, what it looks like in Europe and what we love to bring to Ontario to enable to support organizations and the work of organizations like yours. So let's see if we can start that video about the postcode lotteries.
The humble postcode, a set of numbers and letters that hold a lot of power. Power to change lives, neighbourhoods and communities both near and far. At the Postcode Lottery Group, we have always believed that together we can be a force for good. So we've made it our mission to raise as many funds as possible for initiatives that make for a better society. From small and local charities to large international charity organisations, our players support them all. Our goal, to turn every home's postcode into a ticket for good, so everyone has the chance to win prizes with their neighbours and contribute every month to a healthier, fairer and greener world. As a private company owned by a non-profit foundation and with 1,400 dedicated team members, we have the capability and a strong, long-term and unrestricted funding philosophy, allowing our charity partners to allocate and shift funds based on maximum impact. To date, we have raised over 13 billion euros. Last year, we awarded 934 million euros in prize money. And with 14 million players across 5 nations and growing, we have a strong base and huge scope for expansion. With millions of postcodes, these humble numbers and letters have the power to make life better for everyone.
Well, can you imagine neighbors in Kingston or Mississauga or Barrie or Thunder Bay up north winning together and supporting local charities at the same time? Well, that is what we are working on. And our ambition is really to start a postcode lottery in Ontario as well. Our conversations with the gaming authorities are actually quite promising. So we are hopeful to get started in the course of this year. So, but please, hopes are up and this will help, of course, that we will interact with you already in this form. But before we have that lottery license, we will continue on other goals that we have, like in the Netherlands and in Sweden and in Great Britain, Germany and in Norway, and that is strengthening the charitable landscape. So that is what this morning is about, and we are offering educational sessions. We hope you will like. It is now really time, almost time, to introduce 2 amazing people who are with us this morning, Lara Bakema and David Kokke, 2 of our dear colleagues working in the creative department in the Amsterdam headquarters of the Postcode Lottery Group. But before I hand over to Lara and David, we would like to get to know you who are watching a bit more and to see to what extent you're already familiar with AI in your personal life, in your work. And we would like to use the tool Kahoot. So maybe you have read in the waiting room already some instructions, but we also get now a QR code on the screen because it's quite easy to access and it's nice to have some interaction, not only now for a couple of questions, but also later during the presentation that we can ask you something. So if you have not registered yet, you can use your phone and go to the QR code. And then if you're in, the PIN is asked and then you can enter the code. It works. It goes fast. Everybody's popping up. Sarah, Leo, Nikki, Mel B, Andrew T. Welcome, welcome, Pat. Sporty. Very nice nicknames are too. Great. It's really fun. We should also have asked where you're based, but that may be for the next time. But we have all the names. Probably we should maybe start with the first question because I already said it's about AI and we're of course curious how experienced you all are already. So the first question is if you already use AI in your work. And it's also popping up on your screen and then you can answer the question. Do you already use AI? Well, this gives quite some insight, right? Lara, David, we can work with this.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So let's go to the second one. Do you think AI is a positive or a negative thing? I already said there's a lot to talk about. What do we think? Positive or negative? And of course, there might be some negative effects, but I trust that also David and Lara will fill us in about it. But there's a positive vibe in the room, in the audience. Very great. So, and then the third question before we start, do you think in 5 years, your life will be different because of AI? So red is yes, no is blue in 5 years? Well, we've seen that a lot can happen in 5 years. No, not different. Okay. Also interesting, right? So I think, Lara, David, are you ready to take over and introduce
Yes,
to the world of artificial intelligence and share with us, well, how it can be transformative for the way we work? So please take the floor.
yes. Thank you, Judith.
Yes, I'm going to share my screen.
David will share the screen. And meanwhile, yeah, welcome, guys. So nice to have you all here. My name is Lara Bakema, and I'm a senior creative at the Postcode Lottery Group. Do you all see the AI letters? Yes, I think so. Yeah,
Hopefully.
hopefully.
And my name is David, and I'm working as a creative manager here in Amsterdam as the Postcode Lottery Group as well.
Yes. And before we kick it off, we would like to show you a short video to get you all in the mood. Yes, well, we realize that this is quite intense, and of course, it's meant to be a little bit tongue-in-cheek. But I think we all get the message here. AI is frightening for some, but welcomed by others. And is it a good or a bad thing? We just saw it in the Kahoot quiz. Well, we hope that after this meetup, we will have a better idea of what AI, and then especially generative AI, so AI with which you can make things like music, images, or art, is all about. We've gathered a ton of exciting inspiration for you and also some practical tips to get started.
Yes, thank you, Lara. Okay, let's take a look at the agenda for the next 40 minutes. Today, we're going to look into a short general introduction of Gen AI, the ethics and risks, because not everything about AI is positive, the bias issues, the assumptions AI can make. We will do a small quiz. You have to guess if the pictures are artificial or authentic. And we've gathered some great and interesting cases we would love to show you. And if there's some time left, we can answer some additional questions. But first, this. It isn't the first time technology has caused some debate. This is a picture of a news article showing math teachers protesting against calculators. I think this article is from the 1960s, and in the end, it all worked out fine. So let's not worry too much about it. And to show you where we're standing right now with AI, to explain that, we use the Gartner hype cycle, which shows how technology develops over time. And it actually always starts with a technology trigger. You see that left below, and this then skyrockets to incredible heights, to the peak of inflated expectations. And everybody's talking about it, and LinkedIn is full of posts about AI. Then it crashes, and people say, "Yeah, okay, what's in it for me? What can I do with this?" And it slowly starts to bounce back and eventually turns into something useful and productive. Now, I think we're about here at the moment. It was a huge hype a year ago, but that calmed down, and now we're climbing out of the valley of disillusionment, and it becomes more and more productive. And to show you how fast this technology is growing, here's a chart of how quickly apps reach 1 million users. Okay. For comparison, Instagram took it 2.5 years to reach his first million users. TikTok managed that in less than a year, in 9 months. And ChatGPT hit this milestone in, what do you think? 2 months. Yeah, this incredible growth highlights the acceleration pace of AI adoption.
Yes, these are some impressive figures, but what can we actually do with AI? And why is a tool like ChatGPT so immensely popular? Well, it all starts with prompting. Every generative AI tool needs a prompt, a command from humans to start creating. And here you see a really simple example of a prompt. Hi, ChatGPT, can you write me a blog post about the urban highlights of Toronto? Well, ChatGPT will then write you an article in a matter of seconds. So you can see the benefit here. And this is just one example. We will get a bit more into what ChatGPT can do further along in the presentation. And with these kinds of innovations, it might be hard to keep up for us humans, but we already see some changes in society here. Here you see an example, pretty good example actually. It's a job opening for prompt engineer. And prompt engineer is a brand new profession. Prompting is in its core a quite simple action, but if you can get really good at it, if you can get really specific in prompting, you might be a prompt engineer. And it has a quite good salary too. And that's basically because, yeah, it's such a new profession and not many people master the art of prompting yet. And that's why we see another fascinating phenomenon, the prompt marketplace. As we said, simple prompting is not really that hard to do. But if you need really specific output, for instance, let's say an image of a girl standing in the rain, looking over the Niagara Falls, accidentally dropping her purse, maybe you see the image in your head. But it might be difficult to get exact that image that you have in your mind onto your screen, even with AI. So that's why at the prompt marketplace, you can buy a prompt that comes close to what you need, just for a couple of dollars or a couple of cents, so that you have a proper basis and only have to adjust to get eventually what you need. And that's an easy way and a nice way to get started.
Yes, thank you, Lara. Yeah, but how can AI impact our work? Now, I think AI is totally changing the way we work. I think it's shaking up industries and it's opening doors for new ideas and more efficient ways of doing things. Let's take a look at the 4 big changes happening in the workplace. And then the first one is from a graphical user interface to voice and gestures. Technology is moving just past just using screens and keyboards. With voice commands and gestures, it's now faster and easier to interact with devices. And then the second one, from coding to prompting. AI tools like ChatGPT are changing the game. Instead of needing to know how to code, it's now about creating the right prompts, making technology easier to use for everyone. Number 3, from computer to co-creator, AI enables machines to generate a creative output, like, for example, art, music, and video, and turning computers into powerful creators. And I think AI isn't here to replace us, but people who know how to use AI will definitely outpace those who don't, is my opinion. And the last one, number 4, from a push and pull to a meaningful conversation. AI makes conversations smarter, more personal by understanding the context and turning interactions into more engaging and meaningful experiences. But I think it's not all good news about AI. In the next part, Lara is going to talk about a bit more about the ethics and risks.
Yes, because we don't want to frighten you or something, but there are certainly some ethical issues and risk that you should take in account when using AI. Let me first get this straight. It's not the AI itself that's dangerous, but the way that people might use it. In the top right corner, you see, I'm sorry, in the bottom of the screen, you see a headline of a data breach at Samsung. This happened when a not so well-informed employee thought it was a good idea to put critical source code, computer code, into the free version of ChatGPT. We all should know that the free version of ChatGPT uses your input to train its own systems. So please be aware of that. If you want to use ChatGPT, you might want to choose one of the paid versions. This protects your input, so you can be sure there's no data risk involved. Another horrible example of misused AI is the case of in case of voice cloning. Here you see at the top right corner, there are certain tools that can easily mimic voices, human voices. And as you can read in the headline, criminals even use it to fake kidnappings. Well, to hear how powerful voice cloning can be, let's take a look at this video.
I stand before you not as an expert, but as a concerned citizen.
One of the 400,000 people who marched in the streets of New York on Sunday.
And the billions of others around the world who want to solve our climate crisis.
As an actor, I pretend for a living. I play fictitious characters, often solving fictitious problems.
I believe that mankind has looked at climate change in that same way, as if it were a fiction.
As if pretending that climate change wasn't real would somehow make it go away. But I think we all know better than that now.
Yeah, this is quite creepy, right? And you can imagine how wrong people might benefit from this. So another major issue with AI is that of copyright. With a lot of image making tools, you and I are now capable of creating photographs, music, and art in style of famous artists. And a lot of them are obviously not very happy with that. Apart from that, they probably practiced years and years to optimize their work and their style. We are now able to create this works in the blink of an eye. They're also not pleased with the way their data is being used. As some of you might know, AI tools are mainly trained by scraping millions and millions of images from the internet. And combined in their database, you can now recreate any new image you want. The problem is that those artists never gave their permission at all to use their images for training. And that's why they started a lawsuit against Midjourney and other major AI companies. But unfortunately, it's a really complex issue with no outcome yet. And that's also maybe because this isn't practically the first time that somebody else's work is used to create new art. Look at Andy Warhol's Campbell's Soup, for instance, or the Mickey Mouse artworks, or the photograph of Gene Corman that served as the basis for Warhol's immensely famous artwork. AI is also known for its bias issues. Like we said just now, AI models are trained by millions and millions of images from the internet. And as we may know, the internet is not the most unbiased place there is. See what happens when you prompt an image of an Indian person. That's right, a complete stereotype. The same goes for a Mexican person, a man with a large mustache and a sombrero. Even food is portrayed in a stereotypical way. This is what happens when you prompt Indonesian food. However, these are very simplistic prompts. And if you get more specific and more inclusive in your prompts, you will get a better and more inclusive outcome. Well, these bias issues are not going unnoticed, luckily. I will show you a video in a couple of seconds, sorry, of an ad agency in France that made a statement concerning the stereotyping of the inhabitants of La Banlieue, a suburb in Paris. Let's have a look.
C'est abusé.
Ah ouais, c'est chaud.
Yeah, that's quite powerful. And here you see a similar statement. When you ask AI to generate an image of a professional, for instance, an athlete, a CEO, or a doctor, or any type of leader, 80% will result in a white man. So a Dutch agency called ACE responded to this by creating Miss Journey, an inclusive alternative to the popular but bias-based AI tool Mid Journey. And they trained their Miss Journey model with a more diverse database, like women, people of color, women of color, to ensure a more inclusive output. And of course, this is also more an awareness campaign than it is a real useful AI tool. But you see the point. We should always stay alert on the output that AI creates. That said, one might question whether AI generated images should be used at all for certain purposes. Here you see a good example of this is how, for instance, Charity Right misused AI by asking for donations with fake children. You and I, we can tell that they're not real, I hope. But these days, it's much harder to distinguish fake from real images. Actually, I think it's time for a game now. And to see how good you are in spotting the AI-created images. So
Yes, thank you, Lara. Very interesting. Okay, I have to switch.
Stop sharing.
Stop sharing. And Paul, can you help me out and to share
the Kahoot?
The Kahoot. So we go back to the Kahoot and we have a little quiz for you.
A new Kahoot, a new pin.
Yeah. We are curious, how good are you in spotting the real photos versus the one made with AI? And we've got 5 photos to show you. And you have just to guess how were they made. I'm excited who nails them all at the end. So good luck. Yes, the first photo. This one, a stunning image of a rainforest. Uh,
He is leading the board.
A photo from the 1950s, or I think the 70s maybe. Mother with her baby. This one is real. Okay, mail is on top. It's also about time, eh? You press. The next
The
one.
faster you answer, yeah, the higher you get.
4 old friends in the kitchen. This one is fake. Was AI made with AI, but it looks quite real. That's for sure.
Completely changes the leaderboard. So that's
Kim is on top. Number 4, an operation room in a hospital. Some doctors. Yeah, you spotted well. And if you look quite good to the picture, there was nobody on the operation table, so it was quite
minor detail.
Minor detail.
Archie is leading. I think we go to the final one now.
Yeah, the final one. Your 4 cute meerkats. There they are. AI, and this one is real. So you see, it's quite, it's quite difficult.
Who's on the podium? Who's got it right? Who's in the top 3? T is on number 3. On number 2, we have Archie.
Yeah.
And number 1, Sarah Leo.
Sarah Leo.
Congratulations.
You can call yourself a true AI expert, but you see it's quite difficult to see which is real and which is made in with the AI. I'm going back to my presentation. And we go to the next, the next chapter, and maybe the most exciting one. We've gathered some great cases we've come along in the world of AI, and hopefully they will inspire you and show you what is possible with generative AI. This is first example how AI can bring images to life. Even the masterpieces from the Dutch painter Johannes Vermeer. Because picture the girl with the pearl earring cracking a smile, or the milkmaid actually pouring milk, or boats who are gently sailing through Delft, a Dutch city. Now, Wietse Koense used the AI video tool Runway to create an amazing film that brings these masterpieces to life. Now, let's have a look. Yeah, I think this is absolutely stunning, and I think the best part is it took them only 2 days to make this, so it's going really fast. Let's stick with Vermeer for a moment, because I think everybody knows this famous painting from him, the girl with the pearl earring. But what happens if we ask an AI to imagine the surroundings? Now. this is the result, and it is not real because we don't know. But it is quite cool. Every time you ask this to the AI, you use the same prompt, you will get a completely different outcome. So quite nice. And here's another one. This is an optical illusion. This was a big trend for a while, and at first it looks like a bunch of people walking through the streets of New York. But if you squint a bit, you do that, you will see they were actually spelling out the word obey. You have to squint quite good, and you will see it. And tricks like this can be easily achieved with just a simple AI prompt. I've got another example from this. This is a kind of arty photo from a woman on the beach. But if you squint again, you see the Bitcoin symbol. You see it? And then another one. This one is probably a bit easier. From a couple of bunnies who form the sentence, never gonna give you up. Quite creative. And let's stay with Rick Astley for a moment. And I think this is my favorite example of this presentation. In this case, nature images are rapidly stitched together to recreate the Rick Astley music video. But if you pause it, it just see a nature shot. But when you play it quickly, it forms his video. Now, maybe you think, where is he talking about? So I'm playing now the video and you will see what I mean. Now, I think you know what I mean, and here are some stills from the video, and you see how the rocks and the greenery and the water and the shadows are shaped like Rick Astley or one of his dancers. I think it's pretty cool and really creative because you still have to come up with the idea.
Yeah. Yes, these are very cool examples, David. Thank you. Well, it's almost the end of our talk. And of course, we promised not only to leave you inspired, but also a little bit equipped with some tips and tricks to get you going. Well, how to get started? Well, the best thing you can do, in our opinion, is create a paid ChatGPT account. The free version is obviously nice to start with. However, as we mentioned, not ideal due to security risks. Our advice is to subscribe to one of the paid accounts of ChatGPT and adjust your settings so it won't use your input as training data. ChatGPT is the go-to tool to start with, no matter what kind of business or organization you're in, big, small, it doesn't matter. It's for everybody extremely time-saving, and it can help you also get creative since you can use it as your personal brainstorm buddy. And also, it's very intuitive to use and very easy, so you don't need to be an expert to get started. It's just a matter of sitting down and basically start asking what you want. For example, write an invitation for a donor event, create a social media post, or even help with my volunteer communication. Here are some final tips to create the right prompts. It is very important that you ask clear questions to ChatGPT. The better and clearer the output, the input, the better the output. And of course, you can adjust and customize your output on the go. You can ask follow-up questions like, can you make this shorter, or can you make this sound more enthusiastic? And last but not least, use ChatGPT as an assistant. It's not all-knowing. It's worth rereading your output before publishing it, because it is programmed to deliver output anytime. It might fill in possible gaps with information that's not exactly true. So, I think we've come to the end. Hopefully, you had a good time and it inspired you. And yeah, maybe there are some questions.
Yeah.
There are. Thank you so much, Lara, David. It's really so exciting. I learned a lot. Prompting, prompt engineers, the cool Vermeer. I saw Kim also responding. She was also doing good in Kahoot, but she also liked it very much. The Vermeer was very cool. But maybe the first question, because you were talking about ChatGPT, comes from Bob McQuire. Why do I want to turn off the training portion of ChatGPT? Was that mentioned in?
Well, because it depends of what kind of input you put into it. And you can imagine that if you have like classified company data, you would not want to ChatGPT to use that to use as training data, because basically it will come out on the other end with some other user actually. So that's why, yeah.
Very, very clear. And ChatGPT, actually, I use it already and I like it. It's a fun tool and it helps really, it saves time. But you showed all those other kind of apps, and Will also asks, where can we find those? Is there some listing of when you want to start with more the creative stuff? Is it for free? Is it paid? Where should we look for concrete apps to work with?
Yeah, if you want to make images, you can do that in ChatGPT as well.
Yeah.
Or in Copilot. That's probably the Microsoft version of AI. But if you want to go further and want to make art or really nice pictures, you can use Midjourney. It's quite a cool tool to use, and it's quite friendly.
Yeah. And you can just Google it.
Yeah, just Google it. It's called Midjourney. And then you have to pay for that. It's about, I think for the light version, it's about $18.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think just Google and find where you get your apps ready. Our winner in Kahoot, Sarah Leonard, also has a question. What are the best practices for safeguarding personal data when using AI tools?
Safeguarding personal data. I think that you mean how to protect personal data in AI. Well, the most safe way is to not use it into AI, in AI. But you can, with certain, like we told in the presentation, there are certain subscriptions where you can exclude your data from training, and that's quite safe. But I myself, I think it's never a good idea to use names or addresses or into AI, because it maybe in your secure environment it will still come out with somebody else. So maybe it's not recommendable.
Better
No.
be cautious.
Yeah.
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 And this is also interesting because I think it's very relevant. Mary O'Neill asked, what would you say to someone who believes this is going to take away jobs?
Well, my main reaction would be just try it. Try how you can be enhanced in your professional life with using AI, and then it might not come across so daunting after all. Because I really, maybe that was the story a couple of like a year ago, but when you see it now, when we enter the stage of productivity a little bit more with AI, you mainly see the same people doing their same jobs with AI a lot of faster and a lot of more efficient. So I wouldn't be so afraid to lose your job through AI, but I can not promise, of course. I'm not a visionary, but that's our take on that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also brings a lot of new jobs.
Yeah, also.
Yeah, the
Prompt
prompt engineers at that kind of things. Yeah. No, but I get it because, of course, it goes faster, so maybe you need less people. So obviously that is something.
Well, that's also what we thought with internet maybe or email, but the at the end of the day we were just doing more in the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, another concrete question from a creative side. This is from Shaik. What AI tools or platforms would you recommend, David and Lara, for images and videos? Are there any free versions similar to Canva, which offers free premium for registered charities? Very understandable question because it can be costly.
Yeah, free versions. Oof, I don't know if they're free. Yeah, what I said for pictures, I think Runway is really nice. Oh, a free version is Crea.
Okay.
That's Krea. Yeah, Crea. Yeah.
You check that out.
And you can check that out, and that's a free version, and you can make, I think, about video and images. I think 5 or 6 a day, and that's free.
Yeah. And I also think that ChatGPT, which you can also make images with, offers some discount for charities, I believe. Yeah, for the subscription subscribed options.
Maybe 1 or 2 last questions. There was the question about will we need less people and will we lose our jobs or people lose their jobs? But will AI, this is also interesting, make humans dumber?
Yeah, that's
What's your view on that?
Yeah, we've asked that question to ourselves, of course, but what I noticed, because I use ChatGPT a lot, is that I can get my thoughts out quicker. So I can have a quicker overview of my thinking. So I think it doesn't make me dumber, maybe a little bit lazy in writing, maybe, but not in my thinking. No. And as we said just now, just check it out and see for yourself and decide for yourself. Yeah.
And actually, you were also very clear, I think, both of you, that you have to keep thinking yourself because everything
you have to
comes
really.
up. Yeah. You have to keep on checking whether it is really reflecting what you want to say. And this is then maybe also a very nice final question from David, because his question in the end, but he is an introduction, what amount of time do we need to spend training our IA to work well? And it is based on the fact that a friend of his spent almost a year training the ChatGPT to understand the business consulting model. This seems quite professional approach, communication style, and now it reacts to prompts and creates excellent documents. So it's worthwhile investing. But what do you think in general? What amount of time will it take to get something, really up and running?
Well, we are in a similar process ourselves, and I think it also comes down to how good of a prompt engineer you have working for you, because we hired somebody to help us with that, and he's quite fast and smart, and so he does a really good job. But you can see how hard of a job it is to do, because the output is never perfect immediately. So you have to make iterations on it the whole time. So, well, it's a hard question to answer, but I think, for example, for nailing the tone of voice of a brand, you can be ready in, I think, maybe a week. Yeah, working full time.
That sounds good. Well, the final one, because you showed the example of the UK charity using actually fake children in their ads. And this is a little bit related to a question from Tilly Battle. In my experience, when generating images for my organization, where we work with children, there have been inappropriate, so young girls with breasts, etc. Is this concerning to anyone else?
Well, I'm not sure if we understand the question. Why?
No, I think it is concerning, but this is the prompting part, I guess, as I see it. When you indeed ask for prompts and they're not correct and you get images that are inappropriate, then there comes the thinking again that you should be
you have
alert
to
and stay alert.
check by yourself.
Yeah.
Check.
And maybe,
Yeah,
maybe
and
the concerning part is also with the banlieue. That it
Yeah.
was all of a sudden the word was so inflicted with negativity. So it's also maybe a growing system that at some point you can re-educate also these AIs to do not inappropriate or biased.
Yeah. And most of the tools are actually also pre-programmed not to generate inappropriate images, but it can go wrong sometimes. And also you see that most of the AI tools, like we said in the presentation, are like reflecting what the internet is all about. So, and we all know that internet and breasts and are good friends. So maybe with the wrong prompt, you get out the wrong output. So yeah.
Well, I think I could talk to you much more, but I will find you in the office later. I will come to your place in the office. But Lara, thank you. David, thank you. It was really educational. And I will hand over to Richard for the final words. But I hope everybody enjoyed it a lot and that the next webinars, because we're going to continue offering this to the Ontario charity landscape. We hope to see you again. So over to Richard. Have a great day and hope to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Yeah, thanks so much, Judith. And a very special thank you to Lara and David for that amazing presentation. I mean, I think it was really appropriate how it began it's the perception that people have of Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Terminators taking over the world versus looking at AI as a productivity tool and see the benefits that AI can provide organizations in the future. So thank you so much for a wonderful webinar. A special thanks to the entire team at the Canadian Postcode Lottery Foundation for their ongoing support of the charities in Ontario and providing these free webinars. This is we're looking forward to some more webinars to come. So keep an eye on your inbox. We already have some really wonderful ideas for webinars later on this year. So keep an eye on that, and really want to thank everybody for taking the time out of the day to come today and attend, and we hope you enjoyed it. And we'll make sure that we'll have the video available. Keep an eye out on the OCGA newsletter, and we'll make sure for those that weren't able to attend, they have access to this wonderful information. So thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.